1,200 feet above the Dnipro River, southeastern Ukraine, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone hovers in silence, its camera locking onto a Russian Marine convoy crawling over a temporary pontoon bridge. Below BTR-82, armored vehicles and HIMARS trucks rumble through the morning fog, engines echoing across the water. The 155th Naval Infantry Brigade advances cautiously, unaware they're being watched. From a hidden command post, Ukrainian operators track every movement. Coordinates flash across the screen, confirm targets. A loitering R-18 drone armed with an anti-armor warhead dives low. Seconds later, an explosion tears through the bridge. Fire and water erupt together as metal and men vanish into chaos. Smoke rises like a signal of doom. Russian radio chatter breaks into panic orders. Clash voices crackle, confusion reigns. Half the convoy is stranded mid-river. The rest are cut off, exposed, and surrounded. Above them, more drones swarm in precision machines of death. And this is just the beginning. What happens next will rewrite the battle on the Eastern Front. 1,200 feet above the Dnipro River, southeastern Ukraine, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone hovers in silence, its camera locking onto a Russian Marine convoy crawling over a temporary pontoon bridge. Below BTR-82, armored vehicles and HIMARS trucks rumble through the morning fog, engines echoing across the water. The 155th Naval Infantry Brigade advances cautiously, unaware they're being watched. From a hidden command post, Ukrainian operators track every movement. Coordinates flash across the screen, confirm targets. A loitering R-18 drone armed with an anti-armor warhead dives low. Seconds later, an explosion tears through the bridge. Fire and water erupt together as metal and men vanish into chaos. Smoke rises like a signal of doom. Russian radio chatter breaks into panic orders, clash voices crackle, confusion reigns. Half the convoy is stranded mid-river. The rest are cut off, exposed, and surrounded. Above them, more drones swarm in precision machines of death. And this is just the beginning. What happens next will rewrite the battle on the Eastern Front. At 07:43 hours local time, the scene above to the Dnipro turns into a live battlefield theater broadcast only to those who control the sky. Ukrainian drone operators hidden inside an abandoned farmhouse, reinforced with steel plating, monitor multiple screens. Each drone feed displays a different angle of the ambush, aerial thermal imagery, high-resolution optical zoom, and real-time telemetry. Their mission is simple: annihilate the convoy before reinforcements can arrive. On the ground, the Russian Marines move frantically to secure the far bank. Lieutenant Mikhail Korolev, commanding the 2nd BTR unit, orders his men to form a defensive perimeter. His voice strained in hoarse fights against the static of overloaded radios. "Hold position, get the wounded clear," he shouts. But the men can barely hear him over the thunder of secondary explosions. The pontoon bridge, now half submerged, lifts heavily, its middle section engulfed in fire. 2 HIMARS fuel trucks burn uncontrollably, sending black smoke visible for miles. Russian combat engineers rush to deploy emergency pontoons, but every movement is spotted from above. Within seconds, a second wave of R-18 drones descends. Each carries a warhead scavenged from RPG-7 rounds, stabilized with carbon fins. Their targets the command vehicles and any sign of repair activity. One drone strikes directly into a mobile radio post, detonating in a white flash that silences all comms on the left flank. Another slams into a truck carrying mortar shells. The explosion ripples through the water, tossing debris high into the air. In Kiev's Military Intelligence Center, analysts track the engagement in real time through satellite uplink. Bridge strike confirmed. Multiple enemy losses. Thermal signatures dropping. The officer in charge, call sign Sokol, nods and gives the next order: initiate Phase 2 river detonation. Across the river on the Ukrainian-held side, combat engineers from the 35th Marine Brigade begin the final sequence. Dozens of remote detonation charges had been planted days earlier along the banks and beneath the pontoon anchorage points. As Russian troops cluster near the bridgehead, unaware of the danger beneath them, a coded radio signal is sent. For 3 long seconds, there is silence. Then the Dnipro itself seems to rise. The water explodes outward in a column of fire and mud. The remaining pontoon sections are obliterated, launching vehicles into the air like toys. The shockwave flattens nearby reeds, and the sound echoes across both banks like thunder rolling through a canyon. The current turns red with fuel and shrapnel. Some Russian soldiers try to swim across, shedding armor and rifles, but drones continue to stalk them. A FPV kamikaze unit manually guided at low altitude picks off survivors in the open water one by one. The camera footage, grainy yet horrific, captures the desperation, men waving for help, others dragged down by the river's pull. Lieutenant Korolev, still alive, crawls through the mud toward the tree line. His uniform is soaked, his earpiece dead, his weapon lost. Around him, the remains of his unit are scattered, half submerged, silent. He looks up just in time to see another drone pass overhead, its electric whine growing louder. He doesn't run. He simply closes his eyes as the screen fades white. By 0810, the Ukrainian team reports total destruction of the convoy. The pontoon bridge is gone. The river crossing is impassable. Enemy losses estimated at over 30 personnel, 6 armored vehicles, and multiple supply trucks. But the strike isn't just tactical, it's psychological. Russian command units in the sector begin to panic. The local radio network collapses under interference from Ukrainian electronic warfare drones, jamming frequencies and replaying intercepted Russian voice loops to sow confusion. On intercepted channels, operators hear terrified Russian soldiers calling for extraction. We're surrounded, no air cover, UAVs everywhere, bridge gone, repeat. The bridge is gone. Ukrainian analysts mark every transmission, plotting escape routes and probable regroup zones. Within minutes, artillery batteries on the West Bank adjust their coordinates. The next barrage will land on those regroup positions before the survivors can even catch their breath. Meanwhile, high above to the battlefield, a Bayraktar TB2 drone silently recording everything for later analysis or propaganda. Each frame is data, the precision of impacts, the efficiency of drone teams, the proof that the modern warfare now belongs to the unseen eyes in the sky. Yet amidst the triumph, there's unease in the Ukrainian command tent. The operators know the Russians will respond with fury. A counterstrike, perhaps using Lancet loitering munitions or K-52 attack helicopters, is inevitable. Orders come in to relocate the control team immediately. Equipment is packed, data drives, removed, coordinates erased. Before leaving, the chief operator replays the footage of the river explosion one last time. The image freezes the exact frame where fire consumes the bridge. That's the cost of occupation, he murmurs, before shutting down the feed. By midday, Russian drones begin to swarm the area, searching for the launch sites. Ukrainian anti-air teams fire manpads from concealed forest positions, downing 2 Orlan 10S and 1 Lancet, but more are coming. The sky becomes a battlefield of invisible hunters. For now, the river crossing is theirs, a symbol of how the war has changed. There are no front lines, no safety, only visibility and timing. And somewhere across that broken river, Russian reinforcements are forming up armored columns, artillery units, and electronic countermeasure trucks preparing to strike back with overwhelming force. The Dnipro still burns, but the storm is just beginning to gather. By the afternoon of that same day, smoke still rises from the ruins of the pontoon bridge. The surface of the Dnipro glitters under the fading sunlight, coated with streaks of oil and fragments of twisted metal. The air smells of burned fuel and cordite. For Ukrainian drone operators, it's a victory, temporary, fragile, and dangerous. They know retaliation is only a matter of hours. At 13:27, intercepted communications confirm it. Russian aerospace forces are mobilizing. 2 K-52 Alligator attack helicopters and a Su-25 close air support jet are dispatched from a forward airfield near Tokmak. Their mission hunt down the Ukrainian drone operators believed to be stationed near the river. The skies, once a symbol of Ukrainian dominance through UAVs, are about to become a battleground of flesh against machine. Inside the Ukrainian command van, the tension is suffocating. A radar operator tracks the blips approaching from the east. Low altitude, fast 2 helos, 1 fixed wing, he reports. The commander call sign, Falcon 3, orders an immediate scatter protocol. All drones are recalled except 2 decoys left circling the river to mislead the attackers. Minutes later, the first Ka-52 bursts into view over the tree line, its twin rotors slicing the air. The helicopter unleashes a salvo of S-8 rockets, tearing through empty fields and abandoned trenches. The ground shakes. A cloud of dust and leaves engulfs the area. The second Ka-52 maneuvers wider, sweeping the perimeter with its 30mm cannon, shredding trees and anything that moves. But the Ukrainian defenders are ready. From camouflaged positions, soldiers of the 92nd Mechanized Brigade activate portable Stugna P anti-tank guided missile systems. The operator locks onto the lead Ka-52, a faint electronic beep grows louder, steady, unwavering. The Insansen, the missile launches with a burst of smoke arcing upward before diving towards its target. Impact. The first helicopter disintegrates mid-air, its fuselage spinning out of control before crashing into the forest in a burst of orange flame. The second helicopter banks hard-firing flares and retreating eastward, its sensors jammed by Ukrainian Bukovel EW systems. Cheers erupt over local comms, but it's short-lived. The Su-25 makes its run. Screaming in low at treetop height, the jet releases cluster munitions along the suspected Ukrainian hideouts. Explosions ripple across the farmland, waves of dirt and fire cascade in all directions. One of the Ukrainian control trucks has hit its antenna, sheared off. The drone operator team dives for cover. The camera feeds go static. In the chaos, Falcon 3 gives the evacuation order. Abandon site, leave nothing intact, move west in pairs. The operators grab encrypted drives, smash remaining consoles, and flee through the reeds. Behind them, the strike continues. The Su-25 circles once more, its engines roaring like thunder, before banking away toward the horizon. Hours later, the field is silent again. Smoke drifts lazily above the scorched earth. The drone outpost is gone, but so is half of the Russian air team. It's a draw on paper, but in reality, a psychological blow to both sides. The Ukrainians have proven that even the mighty Ka-52S can fall, yet the cost is steep. By dusk, Ukrainian reinforcements arrive, small infantry units moving under cover of darkness. They recover what's left of the drone wreckage and record the aftermath for intelligence review. Through night vision lenses, the destroyed pontoon bridge glows faintly from residual heat. The current has slowed, carrying fragments of uniforms and twisted helmets downstream. Across the river, the Russian 155th Naval Infantry survivors regroup under makeshift command. Exhausted, soaked, and demoralized, they await extraction. Radio contact with headquarters is intermittent. Supplies are running low, and the constant hum of drones overhead keeps everyone on edge. One Marine Sergeant, Pavel Gromov, writes a short note in his field journal before dusk. We came to cross the river, not realizing it was waiting to swallow us. Every sound in the sky feels like judgment. By midnight, the Russians attempt a rescue operation. Two Mi-8 transport helicopters approach under the cover of fog, guided by infrared strobes from the ground. Ukrainian listening posts pick up the sound immediately, rotor echoes faint but distinct. Within minutes, an order is issued to artillery unit Thunder 12, stationed west of the Dnipro fire for effect. The night erupts again. M777 howitzers, Thunder, sending precision shells toward the riverbank. The first salvo lands near the Russian extraction point. Huge geysers of mud and fire rise from the shoreline. The second salvo hits closer, forcing the Mi-8S to abort. One manages to lift off, the other is shredded midair by shrapnel. The survivors dive for cover as the riverbank becomes a blazing inferno. From a distance, Ukrainian soldiers watch through thermal scopes. No cheering this time, only silence and the cold awareness that tomorrow the same might happen to them. By dawn, the area is a wasteland of smoke-broken vehicles and scorched reeds. The once quiet crossing has become a graveyard for machines and men. Both armies withdraw temporarily to regroup, leaving the Dnipro as an open wound dividing them. Yet far from the front, deep inside a Russian command center near Melitopol, the high-ranking officers gather around a digital map. The red marker over the Dnipro flashes repeatedly loss of unit. The general's face hardens. He points at the screen. If they want the river, he says coldly, we'll turn it into fire. A new order is drafted, retaliatory strikes with Iskander short-range missiles targeting Ukrainian drone control hubs and supply depots along the southern front. The message is clear: escalation has no limit now. As the day ends, reconnaissance drones once again rise into the evening sky. The cycle continues. One side hunts, the other hides, and the river remembers everything. Somewhere beneath the drifting mist, the broken pontoon bridge creaks softly against the current, a monument to the price of precision warfare. At 0511 the next morning, the eastern horizon glows faintly red, not from sunrise, but from the ignition trails of missiles. 3 Iskander-M ballistic projectiles launched from Russian positions near Melitopol streak through the mist, their supersonic roar slicing through the cold dawn. Each carries a high explosive payload aimed at Ukrainian drone control hubs believed to operate near the Dnipro basin. In the command post of the 35th Marine Brigade, alarms blare. Incoming bearing northeast, shouts an operator. The soldiers scramble for cover as the anti-air radar locks on. 2 NASAMS batteries engage, firing interceptor missiles into the approaching sky. 1 Iskander is destroyed midair, erupting in a sphere of white fire. The second glances off course, crashing into a field outside Nikopol. The third hits home. The explosion tears through the Ukrainian logistics compound. Containers, fuel tanks, and antenna towers vanish in a rolling wave of fire. The ground trembles. The shockwave knocks soldiers off their feet. When the smoke clears, half the facility is gone. Equipment burns, and the scent of scorched metal hangs heavy over the camp. Far across the river, Russian reconnaissance drones record the aftermath, broadcasting triumphant footage through encrypted military channels. Target neutralized, reads the transmission tag, though the cost of that single strike, both human and strategic, remains unknown. Inside the surviving Ukrainian operations bunker, the lights flicker. Dust rains from the ceiling. Commander Falcon 3, his uniform smeared with ash, steadies himself and reestablishes radio contact. All stations report status. One by one, voices respond through static, wounded, missing, or silent. The losses are significant, but morale remains unbroken. Meanwhile, 1,000 meters above a Bayraktar TB, 2 drones still circles over the Dnipro, its optics zoomed on the smoking ruins of the pontoon crossing. The water below ripples with the remnants of the past day's destruction. Oil fires still burn slowly on the surface, reflecting the gray morning light. The drone transmits live visuals back to Kiev's Central Command, where intelligence officers piece together the entire engagement for the war archive. In their analysis, the Dnipro ambush becomes more than just a skirmish. It's a case study in modern asymmetric warfare drones, against doctrine data, against manpower, and precision against persistence. Every move, every strike was recorded, measured, replayed. The battlefield, once ruled by artillery and armor, now belongs to algorithms and remote pilots. But even victory feels hollow. At 0800, rescue units comb the remains of the destroyed base, searching for survivors among the debris. One operator, Lieutenant Andriy Hlushko, lies pinned beneath twisted metal. His hands still clutch the controller of a downed FPV drone. When they free him, he whispers the last coordinates he transmitted before the blast, the location of a Russian staging area near Vasilivka. Within hours, Ukrainian counter-artillery responds. A salvo of M142 HIMARS rockets streaks across the sky, guided by satellite data and Hlushko's final transmission. The impact devastates the Russian staging area. Vehicles burn, ammunition depots erupt, and communication lines go dark. Once again, the front shifts, both sides claiming revenge in a cycle without end. By late afternoon, the Dnipro battlefield lies eerily quiet. The only sounds are the creak of ruined metal, the distant echo of artillery, and the drone of unseen engines high above. The river flows again, slow and heavy, carrying ashes, leaves, and fragments of uniforms downstream toward the Black Sea. Journalists later described the aftermath as a graveyard of machines. The charred remains of Russian trucks still rest half-submerged, their markings barely visible through soot. On the opposite bank, Ukrainian engineers erect new surveillance towers disguised among trees, ensuring the river will never again be crossed unnoticed. As dusk settles, Falcon 3 stands at the edge of the destroyed bridgehead. The air is cold, the smell of iron thick. He removes his headset and listens to the silence, a silence that feels heavier than gunfire. He knows tomorrow will bring new orders, new targets, new coordinates. The war won't pause. The drones will rise again at dawn. Still, he takes one last look across the Dnipro. Smoke trails stretch into the sky like scars fading with the wind. Somewhere out there, the remnants of the 155th Naval Infantry are regrouping, plotting their next crossing. Somewhere else, another Ukrainian team is programming new drones, refining algorithms, readying for another strike. War has evolved, but the fear, the exhaustion, and the weight of loss remain ancient. At 19:02, as night falls, the Ukrainian radar detects no new targets. The operators power down their screens one by one. The hum of electricity fades. For a moment, the Dnipro is quiet again. Only the sound of water lapping against burnt steel. The drone footage from the entire operation is archived under the codename Operation Silent Current. In a secure server deep beneath Kyiv, the file is tagged with a single note, recorded for memory. The river remembers. Overhead, a solitary UAV continues its patrol under the stars, invisible to the naked eye. Its red light blinks once faint, distant, almost human before disappearing into the clouds. And in that fading pulse lies the story of every soldier, every operator, every moment of silence. Between strikes, a reminder that in the modern war over the Dnipro, victory no longer belongs to those who hold the ground, but to those who command the sky.